Looks like we're going to be able to jump straight into the match here, Demo. This is huge. They are not mucking around today, mate. We have been on the clock. The Mav ban early here for Liquid. They're going to take... Oh, sorry, that was NiP. Excuse me. And now Thatcher also biting dust. Thatcher bans, we've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, that's a bit of a staple. They are... Brazil must have to do something. Right, because we haven't had a chance to breathe, let alone having a chance to catch these games.
They're hungry, man. The boys, they want to get back in there. They want to get it done. Cade is also going to go down. Not too surprising there.
It is Clubhouse at the end of the day, so you're expecting to see Maverick, Thatcher, Cade all kind of get eliminated with one. Interesting what the defense ban will be now. This is going to be NiP. It's going to be the Wamai. Okay, so that Wamai's ban is going to be specifically to deny anyone entering in towards Catwalk whenever we get into our CCTV room and cash room. So with the Wamai being banned out, Catwalk's going to be a piece of cake for any team attacking. This kind of, I don't know if this favors attackers or defenders because we've got some big heavy hitters from the attackers gone. Obviously, Maverick and Thatcher. And then big heavy hitters from the defense, Cade and Wamai. So it's going to be a difficult one to really adjust and see who is favored here, depending on the side.
Well, I'm back, apparently.
Don't even ask. Don't ask.
Bit of a lightning break. I kind of panicked when I walked in and I saw the game on my screen. I was like, I've missed it. I've been gone for a lot longer than I thought, but it turns out I've not. We're just getting...
Yep.
Absolutely through these games at a serious pace. Riley, thank you so much for filling in for me there.
Oh, mate, I did so much.
It's hard work, isn't it? Now you see how hard
Thatcher ban. Oh, let's talk about the Thatcher ban, boys. So unexpected. All right, I'm out of here. Enjoy the cast. Enjoy the call, boys.
Thank you, Riley. Thank you. And apologies for my lateness on that. But we are getting straight through these games. There's certainly no messing around. We don't actually get to choose when these games go live. It's all sent to us on a feed from Brazil. So we really do play to their pace. And it looks as though they wanted to get this one underway quick, sharp. I can't really blame them, honestly, Demo.
Yeah, keep the momentum.
Liquid and NiP, these teams are going to want to keep that momentum. Well, I guess NiP are going to want to keep that momentum rolling. They don't want to let themselves get a little bit too cold here. I don't think there's much danger of that. But here we are, second map in this best of three. NiP starting off on the defense again.
And I don't really know who's it going to favor because I look at the bans, Ollie. It makes CCTV room and cash room pretty even, I think, because obviously you're losing the Thatcher and Maverick, so Bandit and Yumute is going to be kind of go-to guys now. But then you don't have a Cade to worry about, and you also don't have to worry about a Wamai. So I think basement will be pretty defender-sided for the most part. And I think as we lean in towards the cash room and CCTV, of course I'm just spitballing, just theory crafting, I think that might be a little bit more attacker-sided. But for this bomb site anyway, you would expect defense to come out on top with no Maverick and no, what am I saying? Thatcher, no Thatcher. It means impact tricking is going to become quite a big issue for any teams who want to try and take control of hatches. Thankfully, Liquid have realized that and thought, okay, if they might try and go down the impact trick avenue, let's bring Habana. But then NiP have probably double-guessed themselves on, oh well, if they go impacts, then and they have Habana, maybe we just don't bring impacts and we just go C4s, and that's what they've done with I think 4 C4s in their lineup. So absolute insanity from the NiP. They haven't even reinforced dirt.
There's definite questions here that need asking and answering.
They have 2 spare reinforcements as well.
I mean, firstly, when was the last time that you saw Palu playing Hibana? that's maybe top of the list in terms of lines of inquiry. But
because they brought triple hard breach, that's why.
It's no doubt going to get the job done. Well, they're not going to be worried about getting anything open here. And it should give them enough time to work with. Now, the Bandit pick's a little bit curious. Obviously, Bandit is going to be able to trick onto some of that hard breach gadgetry. But not all of it. And are you going to be in a position to do so? Pino trying to line up a C4 here. Could have Nesk's name written all over it, depending on how Nesk drops. More vertical angles now being opened as well. But it's a very slow and steady take, and I don't think that Liquid have got a clear understanding of what they're exactly going to be going up against here in the final few seconds. As you mentioned, Demo, a lot of C4s going through. Ask takes down Palu. Not the best start. Ness going to be on the floor as well, so effectively a 5 versus 3 as angles are now being held. Ask finds his second kill on the round onto Psycho, but is it going to be enough? 15 seconds left. 2 C4s to finish off the deal. NiP making it look pretty straightforward there. It's always a little bit easier when a team kill goes down.
Yeah, never an easy pill to swallow from Liquid, and NiP, I think, played into the C4 game extremely well. They weren't really too bothered about giving Liquid kitchen control and armory. They weren't too bothered. They knew they had plenty of C4 to deny. Mirror windows kind of shuts down anyone playing in main stairs. As we know, Ollie, if you're going for a kitchen dirt take, 9 times out of 10, there's usually one player on the attack who sits in main stairs, and that covers off anyone trying to rotate from church into armory. It stops anyone pushing short corridor and trying to utilize the soft wall into armory. But with that mirror window being placed there, nobody can play in that position because they're going to see you cross over, they're going to know where you are, they can then maybe coordinate on the defense. Okay, one guy push, one guy send the mirror window, feed information, throw a C4. Numerous amount of things to eliminate the guy in main stairs. And once you don't have that main stairs control, trying to plant back armory is a lot more difficult. Because like I said, then defenders can start abusing the rotates that they have, can move in the short, open up everything. So, yeah, good, well-thought plan from NiP and utilizing the operator choice that they had well. Now we move on to the bar and the stock, or the bar and stage if you're me.
Or the bar and bar.
Or the bar and bar if you're you, I suppose. So, you know, up to anyone. Many names, just as long as you know it as the bar defense. That is the main thing.
It is a site that's risen in popularity. Obviously, it's recently been changed ever so slightly. There's a little rotation there through bar. Actual, the back of bar. But you're going to want to try and hold it in a fairly similar way to holding gym and bedroom. You're going to need to keep control of that top floor. Psycho initially going to be out in strip. He's actually got a yokai drone to assist him as well. He's going to wrap Kamikaze up and just gathering him a little bit of information. Pretty exotic lineup from NiP as well. Bringing the alibi, bringing the Thunderbird for the healing stations. Now, this could be a big brain play. We might be about to see a kill pop up in the feed. Psycho just made a run out there based off the back of information that the yokai drone found as it just dipped itself outside.
So Liquid starting to stem their attacks from Ashram side of things and move over and attempt to take the top floor. Taking top floor, many benefits, Ollie. You can utilize the soft destruction that you can gain inside a bedroom, and also that construction hatch can also be utilized. A very risky run out from Psycho that almost pays off for him. Palu a little bit low on the quick reactions, and Muzi will jump out the construction window, eliminate Palu. A great bit of aggression to kick things off from NiP. Just as if Liquid have been hit with a right hook. They don't know where to go now.
It seems to have stunned Liquid, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's like a different site. Oh my goodness, what do we do? And they've wasted 2 minutes, not really doing all too much. Finally, we're starting to see a bit of progress be made here. Psycho gets juiced up by one of the corner stations before making his way down main. He's still got Pino inside a Logi. He's got live ping information. A lot of Liquid players getting caught out at the minute by the alibis. It's not ideal. It's a live ping that is going to give you away. Psycho capitalizes, takes down Ask. Nesk has made his way around to the main door. He's just essentially broad peeking on into the site, trying to find anything, but this is looking like it's going to be a disaster here for Liquid. Nesk eventually picks one up. 30 seconds left. Is it going to be enough? Kamikaze, he's still out in strip. He's got yokai drones to play with. He's going to be able to gather a little bit of intel, no doubt. Nesk making his approach in through that strip now. Muzi could be in for a bit of a chance here on resets. Only 2 players left here. Make it 1. Nesk is going to be left in the 1 versus 2. Little cheeky TK getting thrown in there for good measure. But a round that Liquid look miles away from.
Yeah, just not even in contention for that round. NiP, the confidence, Ollie, is shot through the roof. Hasn't it? Like, if you think about
really it's night and day.
If you think about the scared team that NiP, you know, just that they played throughout the stage. I know that we've mentioned, how they played in the stage. It's because what we've seen from NiP was extraordinary. Not in a good way, extraordinary in a bad way, just to see how much a team had really gotten into the dark side of Siege, where they just didn't look well. They didn't look as if they were in contention at all in any game they went into play, even against some of the lower sides inside of Brazil. But right now, NiP look very, very good. Very, very good, Ollie. And we can bark at them all we want, Ollie. We can sit there and yap about NiP. Maybe they shouldn't be here because of how they've played throughout the season. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how bad they played in the past. If you show up when it counts, that's all that matters. And right now, NiP are doing that. They're showing up in the games that hold the weight.
We kind of wondered if this was going to be the case, and I'm kind of glad that it is, honestly, because to see a team go from, the rise and fall almost that they've been through this last sort of 6 months, it's pretty extraordinary. And it's not something that you expect to see, an invite-winning team then struggling to even make qualification into Copa and for that to be in contention. It shouldn't really be a factor. It should be pretty much a done deal, locked in, but they are turning it on when it counts, and they're giving Liquid quite a few problems at the moment. I believe we've lost somebody on the side of Liquid. I think we lost Nesk. So we're just going to try and get him back on in. But the game has been paused, and he has since just this second returned. So, providing that a couple of the checks go okay, I'm sure that we'll get underway with the game very shortly. But NiP currently sit at a 2-round advantage here. Liquid yet to find any successes on this attack. It's strange how NiP have been given the attack in on both rounds as well, on both games so far as well, Dom. And that's obviously a decision that's been made by Liquid in terms of the bans and stuff. And you think about Cafe and you think about Club, I know Clubhouse has changed recently, but inherently it's still got advantages there for the defenders, and there's a couple of sites that are almost givens that you should be able to pick up. The fact that NiP have gone to bar and stock for that previous round, they've left themselves with potentially a 4-round, 4 sites there. Potentially every single site could be a goer here for them.
It could be. Definitely a big potential for NiP to, I dare say, sit with potential 5-1, 6-0 possibilities. It's looking good for them, and I think if they win Gym and Bedroom, it definitely makes that a realistic approach. I like the fact that NiP are staying away from cash room and CCTV room. I did kind of mention that it might be attacker side just because of how the bans have went down, with the fact that Wamai is off the board. Wamai is so good for holding Catwalk. The best operator by far out of the defensive pool to hold that position. And whenever you don't have him, it would kind of throw you off going to that bomb site. So I'm actually very impressed that NiP have not went for that, and I think that maybe does ring true for what I was expecting of that might be a little bit attacker side, and I think NiP have the same ideas, so it's good to see NiP adapting to that, adapting to their own bans, and knowing that, hey, if we're banning this operator, let's not put ourselves at a disadvantage and go to the site which he is best used for.
Into gym we go then. Pino, he's been going for these runouts all day, and this time he will be successful. Takes down, resets. A little bit of chip damage that was done was off the back of his own impact grenade, but he'll take that every day of the week. Resets has fallen, and with him the book and the skeleton key. 3 flashes gone into the dust as well. Pino will get a little bit of action as he is chunked down pretty significantly there. Likely through one of the windows as he's making his rotations, but he's going to be happy with that as an opener.
He will indeed. Liquid, same old story for them, losing that opening kill to something that really shouldn't happen. Let's be honest, it shouldn't happen, but it has. NiP, able to take advantage of that. Now this is where NiP, they will start to really hamper on the pressure to Liquid. Also interesting to see Julio not running the shock and instead going with the FMG9. I think that's the correct call, especially whenever we think of the positionings that we see our smoke players usually be played. It's in towards that main stairs. If you have the shotgun on main stairs, you can't really swing onto the breach comfortably.
Yeah.
And I think having the FMG9, it's just a nice little adaptation just to give him a better chance of winning engagement. So, all credit to NiP. Yeah, I'm liking some of the different styles that they're bringing to Clubhouse.
I think there's a lot of stigma around having to run shotguns if you've got them available and running the SMG, and it's nice to see that broken occasionally. NiP a team that do that quite regularly.
Citizen, big leader in that department. We've seen him many a times play the smoke. Obviously, to Kayak's disappointment, he said multiple times, I have to bring Echo Shotgun because of him. But hey, it is what it is. You have to do what you want for your team, and if it means that you might win, then yeah, it's going to be a great pickup. Look at that beauty of a Valkyrie camera.
I've not seen that one before.
I've never seen this, and I'll be finding out how to do this because this is mine. That's mine now.
Take into your own ranked games right there. It's a little bit restricted, but you still get a good gist, and it's never going to get found. Let's be honest. Now, a push is happening as Liquid start to take control here in Gym, but they immediately just get cut down. Every single one of them. The diffuser is cold as well. What a poorly timed execute. Liquid just throwing caution to the wind and having to go for it. It's left the diffuser and it's left Palu. He'll be able to juice himself up just a little bit more before he inevitably starts taking these engagements. Finds a first shot onto Psycho. A great one at that. He get caught out there in the Banshee. Knows he needs to push through for kills. 1 second. These are exit frags if ever you've seen them. NiP continue their flawless streak here on the defense on Clubhouse. This could be quite a quick map 2 demo.
Yeah, it could be. Right, Ollie, close your eyes. Ready for another comparison? Right.
Go for it.
So, imagine Liquid are just a luscious grass field. Okay? Now imagine NiP are a lawnmower. See it?
Yeah, okay.
Yep, that's it.
Are they tidying Liquid up?
They've been mowed down, Ollie.
Oh, you see, you can't do it with grass for me. I'm quite biased to a mown lawn. I think it looks quite nice. I used to be a gardener.
You've been many a jobs.
But I mean, the garden. I used to like tidying a garden. I think you can take a lot of satisfaction from
my dad's a big fan of gardening. He always did the gardening for Granny. He always loved it. So me, not even a slight interest.
Well, NiP, are they the gardeners? Cutting down their competition. Weed whacking. That's what they're doing. Weed whacking.
I mean, look at the kills in Liquid. What's that? 4 kills in 3 rounds?
It's not good.
Like that sums it up for me.
It's a good job they don't count team kills as well, because there'd be a few more.
True. I really don't know where Liquid are going to go. I mean, everything can change now because there is still potential for them to pull it back into a free. Because they've seen how NiP have defended each of their sites now. It's just a case of, can they adapt to the changes? Can they adapt to NiP?
Liquid, they have got a long ways to go. Still giving themselves every option under the sun, bringing triple hard breach and using it. Palu immediately opening up dirt tunnel. It was a good place to have an option to rotate through if your primary plan doesn't go through, or if you do want to go for that kitchen and dirt take. C4 there, Julio is going to try and recover it, but unable to do so. Instead, it looks as though the hatch is going to get opened eventually. It's going to take a couple of pellets at a time. Psycho does have 2 impacts, but he's not going to be in position to do so. Oh, he is actually. He is in position to do so. Will remove 1 set of pellets, but it's a fruitless endeavor because you're never really going to be able to do enough. Ask is going to push himself down blue, however, and he has been caught out on the Yokai drone. Now, he doesn't know this, but Muzi is. Muzi immediately with the swing takes him down. Very careless for the diffuser carrier to be in that sort of a position. Muzi finds a second. He took down Ness because he was pushing down blue. PSK, he's getting cut off now in dirt tunnel. It's all falling apart, Demo.
Just unbelievable from NiP right now. They have looked like a wall. A reinforced wall that nobody is getting through from Liquid. Not gonna 3v5, a minute 30 to go, and keep in mind this is a basement attack also where you kind of need to have everyone alive. D4 gets tossed out. Thankfully Resets has jumped up onto the table and has dodged that, but I don't know what it is about this NiP side. They just look reformed. This is the rebirth of NiP, it appears to be.
It's nice to see. And you know, they're not running away with this thing. They're not letting it get ahead of themselves. They've got a minute left to play here, and they know that a 5 versus 3 is not a round on the board. It isn't a done deal. but they're not throwing bodies with this. Palu going to make his way down blue. I imagine that yokai drone's still there, honestly, and probably still providing a bit of information. Hence, why NiP know to be so present and correct in that area. Kamikaze taken down by PSK, resets inside a kitchen, trying to find an angle, but unable to do so. Palu's hit the rotation and is going to join him down those main stairs, but it's going to be into a mirror window, into a low more information, and likely to another round go into NiP.
Only a matter of time it appears to be now. 10 seconds to be precise. Palu has found 1 kill, but very swiftly gets straight out, and Muzu with the double kill, making it easy as pie. NiP 4-0 up. What do we say about NiP? Never count them out. Never, ever count this side out.
NiP are the embodiment of a tournament team. This is what they do. They come out and they win tournaments. There was a question mark over how they've been performing, how they've been playing inside of stage 3. They've not been doing well. Now the question is, it goes from what's the problem, like what's happened to NiP. Now the question goes to, were they even trying in the first place? Because this team is entirely different. Now, okay, Liquid haven't played the greatest today, but NiP are making this look like a cakewalk demo.
They have. They've made it look oh so easy. Oh so easy. I just don't know what's happened to Liquid. I mean, we always knew that Clubhouse was going to be a difficult map for them. We knew NiP were going to be the favorites inside of this arrangement. You just wondered, has Liquid been really that deflated since Cafe? Like, we knew Liquid, they must have had something cooking up to play Cafe against NiP. We knew that. Now looking at it, was it the correct decision? Doesn't appear to be.
I mean, the question is, where would you play him? Realistically, where would you take NiP at this moment in time? Because this is scary. This is May NiP.
I mean, Chalet was open for Liquid. But Chalet maybe could have been a good option for them.
I think Liquid are a different team now that they've changed roster, especially for Chalet. It doesn't work exactly the same way as it did previously. I honestly think that Liquid want to make Cafe that new map for themselves. But after today, they might have to reconsider.
Resets. Walk in towards third, but there is no way. Psycho knows that he's getting hunted, and Nesk will find that opening kill, so a different change of pace. Psycho, look at his whenever you watch his, like, facial expressions, it's just brilliant because he just lays the emotions out on everything. Muzi has slipped down into blue, down through oil pit, and eliminated resets, and oh dear, Nesk is sitting there looking at him thinking, well, what do I do? So a 4v4 Muzi. Being able to get that kill back is massive for NiP, because that does put Liquid just under a little bit of pressure, eliminates the buck. So that means that vertical game isn't going to be used for Liquid. They can't go into stock, they can't start opening up all these different angles and trying to find these picks, and really making NiP sit very uncomfortable, so all credit to NiP. Being able to get that refrag has been massive for them. So now, a minute 20 to go. Breach is open, but Garage is what we need to see being taken up now. It should be easy. It should be easy for Liquid. Dealing with no Wamai, the only thing you have to worry about is actually nothing. Not an ADS in sight. Not even a Thunderbird stem. Nothing to help the guy inside a catwalk. It's free real estate pretty much if you get a nade locked down. You still have 2 of them from Palu.
Well, the nade's going to fly in, and it's going to do just exactly that. Puts Muzi down to 1 HP.
How?
He drops off the catwalk, maybe even dropping further into oil pit to make a full rotation. I'm not sure how he survived that, but he's gotten away with it. He's now able to make a rotation up main stairs, can potentially join Pino, but Garage is, for all intents and purposes, in the hands of Liquid now. They can start to work through there and start to burn out some of this utility, because there's still quite a bit available for NiP.
They have catwalk control now, and they can open up that soft wall. Even though Muzi isn't 1 HP, Ollie, still can always be a threat, can still be a menace. Can be that thorn in thumb, Liquid. Julio, that shield being allowed to stay up is going to be detrimental, it feels, to Liquid. They're going to try and rush deep in towards the bomb site. BSK will trade with Pino. Ask eliminates Muzi, and Liquid look as if they're ready to get the first round, and they will do that. They thought, you know what, let's not go for the plant, let's take the kills instead, and it worked for them. It worked a charm for Liquid. And that was the fear for the cash hold, Ollie. Holding Catwalk is not going to be applicable for NiP.
It's not a viable strategy, is it?
Nope.
You saw just how easy that nade sailed in. The Wamai ban really causing a lot of problems there. Regardless of the willingness to play Jaeger. Jaeger is easily dealt with. But it's one round. It's a start for Liquid. It really is. Maybe it could be the start of a couple more. NiP still firmly in the lead. Going to be going to gym and bedroom here. Kind of strange to see them try that cache site, honestly. I would have expected they'd go downstairs again to bar and stock, honestly, before going to that cache site. Because the bar site, it stunned Liquid. They didn't know what to do with themselves for the first minute.
Maybe NiP then thinking, okay, we got the bar round. We were very fortunate to have a bar round actually be won. Let's just take our laurels and go. Let's just take what we had, and that's it. So maybe they didn't want to risk it again, which, fair enough. NiP, it's still 4-1, Ollie. They let one round slip, and we're sitting here acting as if, oh, it's the end of the world. They could have done better. They could have been perfect.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
It's still, they're playing extremely well. Even though they lost that round, so be it. They now have their gym and bedroom site, and this was just annihilation. Liquid didn't know what to do. Just tried to rush in. The pressure being applied. Information, I thought, was key. We seen the Maestro, we seen the Valkyrie, gained so much info. They sacked off the Valkyrie this time, though. Still having the Maestro, but lacking maybe the outside information that was pretty vital for them in all elements. Being able to find out if anyone was on the bedroom window and gym window was key for them.
It really was, and obviously the runouts that Valkyrie's been providing as well. Both Psycho and Pino have both been playing Valkyrie with impacts in an attempt to quickly be able to run out onto Liquid. Now, maybe they feel like that's getting a little bit like an old joke at the moment, and they've just told it too many times, but still, a change is a change. Another C4 will be brought instead. Liquid going for a full clear. They're going to have to take in from the cache and CCTV side. Ness, conscious of the underneath, knowing the threat of C4s is a very real one. They could look to try and move through and get a bit of control in bar and onto pool table. Just coming in now onto resets. He's trying to remove the players from cache as his teammates are looking to push in from garage at the same time and catch people out on the rotation. So far, just chip damage being dealt. Still, oh, opener from Ness. That was a great shot onto Psycho. I barely even saw him there at the bottom of those main stairs, even with the outlines on. Great opener for Liquid here. Liquid
Feeling themselves a little bit better now as they say that. Pino using the vertical angles as eliminating Ness. Ness was not happy dying in that fashion. Paulo has been forced back now, and Julio is taking the swings. Julio still yet to get a kill, but there's his first one, and a beauty at that. Julio eliminates Paulo at 2v3. NiP have got the confidence back, and Liquid have tried the brute force strategy, and it is being destroyed once again. Pino with this TCSG has been putting in great work and finds another 3 kills for Pino. One more is all they need to find on to Ask, the newest member of Liquid, and he pull off a wonder clutch. Swings in towards CCTV room. Shield is gone. Flashbang being tossed out. Knows the 2 positions of these roamers. Swings and will eliminate the Goyo. Still knows there's going to be one on the stairs. Flashbang cooked. Peeking the construction. Is actually going to try and skip past Julio the best that he can and straight in towards the bomb site. Kamikaze. This is where the pressure falls onto his shoulders. Goyo's shoulder gets popped. He's really working his way and has taken the plunge. Into bedroom he goes. 15 seconds. Has to move quick. Goes for the defuse, but Kamikaze should have the information and should have the swing, and he will do just that. Time not with Liquid. A nice attempt by Ask, but NiP very patient. Kamikaze stand out in this series, Ollie, and he continues that reign of terror. Round 7 we head into. 5-1 NiP. My oh my. Liquid, what has happened to them?
Well, looks as though they've got the NiP curse. Honestly, it's a pretty sorry day in the office for Liquid. We know that they are capable of more than this. 5-1 split on the half. NiP coming out so strong there in that defensive phase on Clubhouse. Ask was in a pretty difficult situation there, managing to break it down to some degree, but it was never going to be an easy round to win 1 versus 3 there. And you can't pin anything on his attempts. Really, the problems run a little bit deeper here on the side of Liquid. That opening engagement has been something that's crippled them so far. The information game that NiP are willing to bring, that coordination, it's all coming to hurt Liquid at every single turn.
Wow.
5-1 on the board.
I have a theory. Might be a little bit of a wild theory. Do we think the NiP have just pulled off the best April Fool's prank, even though it's not April?
I think they've certainly done something.
Do we think they've pranked everyone by not playing good in the regular season just for this to happen? What do we think?
The thing is, they could have calculated it out and known what they needed to qualify for, whether it be Copa Elite 6, the Major, or SI, or whatever it might be. So they could very well have just calculated all that out and gone. Very similar to how G2 did it a couple of years ago when everyone was on about the G2 saving strats thing. Except this time it sort of flew under the radar in terms of just not really playing very well. And it was just one of those things where you just like... And it's always a risk, right? Because you think about what that does to the mental of a player. The mental of a player is as important as anything else. And if you feel like you're just getting trounced every week, it's not going to be good for your own sort of, I'm the best in the world mentality. But there's potential that that's what's happened here, honestly, because this is night and day difference. This isn't something that you can fix in the course of, 24 hours, a couple of days to, a week or something like that. This is seriously, seriously different stuff from NiP.
I mean, it is just incredible to see a team have this kind of turn. I mean, we sat there and we looked, how can a team have this much of a turnaround to a bad performance? And now we're seeing a team with a turnaround from a bad performance to an exceptional performance. NiP are up and down. They're just a roller coaster of a team.
Well, let's see if they can lock it out here.
NiP are cryptocurrency. That's the best way. They're up and down. You never know. My oh my. Should we invest in some NiP, Ollie?
It's too risky. The thing is, this game isn't even over yet. You know what I mean? NiP are sure they're sat a couple of rounds away from match series point, but we know what Liquid are capable of, and we know how bad NiP can be. We know how bad it can get sometimes. I'm not saying that it will, but we know how bad it can get. So there's all the chance that this one's brought back. It'd be a bit of a miracle at this point, and obviously, as soon as NiP get onto 6, then you really start to ask some pretty hard-hitting questions of Liquid. But at least for the meantime, everything's still to play for. Muzi opens kill on to Palu. Removes the mute. With him, 1 of the C4's gone. 4 have been the throws. 3 have been brought here by Liquid. Nesk's still going to be upstairs as well. He's way out of the action. Actually finds one onto Cycle. Nesk's pretty low as well, so it's an impressive engagement to take. Ask next player to fall. Pretty much face swing. Julio eventually there in position to take him out. Muzi, the wall gets opened beside him, and peekaboo! It is going to be Resets on the other side. Resets first kill this whole game. PSK takes one down onto Pino. Kamikaze pushing his way on through. Too preoccupied with the prone angle and eventually taken on out. Julio, 1 versus 2, 10 seconds left. Going to be able to get himself into position to plant. Beautiful air jab. That could buy him all the time he needs. Now it's going to force PSK to make a rotation in through blue, and the angle can't be found. Nesk burns out the air jab. PSK in with the shot. Nesk hits the C4 for good measure as well. Beautiful stuff. Love that little back and forth there.
Yeah, very well played by Liquid. A great 1v2, and it just shows how cool and calm and collected they are. Smoke didn't charge on ahead, waited for Nesk, and quite rightly so, both attacked from 2 different directions. The C4 being tossed out and then eats up the air jab, and obviously in that scenario, if you see a C4 land at your feet, if you're Julio, you're running just as far as you can, and that's going to be right into the clutches off the smoke. So yeah, well done from Liquid, a great round from them. Second choice for them will be the cash room and CCTV. So this is the worry, Ollie, because the garage isn't favorable. Look at their lineup. Not a single ADS in sight. So nades are going to be massive. We're seeing NiP with the Monty, Ollie.
Yeah, it's terrifying. You know where that's going, don't you?
Catwalk is NiP.
Straight onto the catwalk.
That's guaranteed. The curious element that I want to see from Liquid is Nesk on the mirror. What do they have in store? Because there really isn't any strong mirror windows that you can use that will deny access to, like, a garage thing. The only good mirror window that I can think of is obviously the one on top red stairs, looking in towards construction. That's a bit of a given. Where does the other mirror window go? Looks as if he's going to try and place it on the main breach. What's he up to? Because he hasn't placed it. Getting a perfect position for it. That's what he's up to. Don't really think that'll slow down NiP in their tracks. Mostly because they have a Habana and they can open that at range. Not as if they're going to send the Thermite over. So that shouldn't be an issue.
I did wonder if Nesk was going to kind of keep it in his pocket and then try and place it at the right moment to do that
Thermite
fancy
trick. Yeah,
detonating Thermite trick thing you were on about the other week. But, I mean, that would be a little bit of a bold play in a game with stakes as high as this one. Drone work. Garage has to be the focus here. NiP already swarming on that location. Nesk at the bottom of cash stairs. Seeing a bit of pressure immediately from Adam Window. Julio going to send in one of his Rotero drones. Immediately destroys that shield. And Nesk's position is incredibly weakened from that decision. He's now vulnerable from all three sides and needs to be very cautious and heavily droned out as well. There's got to be a point where Nesk decides, you know what, I can't afford to stay here for much longer. Sure, he's doing a good job of eating up a bit of utility. He's removing a couple of the drones, etc. But still, can't play there forever. He's unsupported at the minute. It's giving NiP a good focus, though. Muzi potentially there with a swing. Just a little bit late on that one.
Impacts from below will eliminate anyone potentially playing on that breach. Anything, Jammer gone. There was potential of a bandit, also would have been eliminated. So pretty standard from NiP, pretty default as it goes. The wall now begins to be opened up, and this is where NiP will start to rotate over and start their take onto that garage, on towards that. So I think it should be fairly simple for them. Again, we kind of mentioned no ADSs from Liquid. Nothing to really help the guy if he is playing top catwalk. They should be able to rotate over and start making things work for them.
Still a lot of time being spent here, given that the Monty is pushing through. Say that Muzi is going to be able to take down Ask as Psycho bullies him out of the way. Psycho now, the human drone, can just gather as much info as he likes. Pino takes down resets. Nesk does have a C4 in pocket. That is going to be the only significant denial, aside from the two Toxic Babe canisters, but they are getting spent at a rapid rate of knots. The wall hasn't been opened just yet, so it's not as easy to get a plant down. You're going to need to get in through the window, but Psycho is just harassing players here inside of Cash. Pushed really far up, quite aggressively. Muzi, he's going to find himself down. Psycho picks up one onto Palu, maybe grabs himself a second here onto Nesk. No, eventually is taken on down. A very scrappy exchange. Nesk and PSK, they are all that remains. The plant will start to go down, but is come off very briefly. Kamikaze going for another attempt here. Nesk still has a C4. If he times this well, it could be round said and done. Finds one onto Muzi, not onto the planter though. Needs to push around, but cannot do so. Pino, he's going to find the final two. Kamikaze, actually, you might see him on the replay, tucked in behind the corner there, just to the right. So tantalizingly close.
That is a nail biter of a round coming out from NiP, and I have to give credit to Kamikaze. Understood the situation extremely well. Smoke canisters all being dispensed, cut down a lot of the NiP time in terms of what they could work with. And then they knew that Mira still had a C4. C4 wasn't used anywhere else, and Kamikaze, almost fearing that, just charged in and went for the plant in the unexpected position. But a lot came down, I think, to Pino's shoulders there to make sure he covered him. A lot of pressure to put him under, but still he holds his nerve. Doesn't bottle it, and wins that engagement. 6-2 NiP. One round from beating Liquid and getting to Swedish major. Can they do it? Can they do the unthinkable? Ollie, like we said, ask us a week ago if we thought NiP were going to get to the major. We would probably said no.
Yeah, I would agree. I would wholeheartedly agree.
A lot of people thought that.
I would have even had it that a team out of, you know, South America or Mexico would have had a better chance. And that's no slight against those guys. Those guys can play Siege with some of the best of them, and you know their record and their ability speaks to that. But you would have put the way that NiP were playing up against one of those teams, they would have tore them limb from limb. And you just think, and you sit here now and you go, I feel like I've had the wool pulled. Honestly,
Yeah,
I feel like I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
I want to use the exact same phrase.
And it makes a lot of sense now that is a case. And if NiP do win here, I really want to get an interview with Julio and just sort of ask him how he's been able to keep a straight face for so long. You know, given if it is a circumstance where they've just been holding themselves back a little bit in anticipation of, you know, the games that have got the weight in them. It's just good to see. It really is. You know, it's glad to see them back on form here, and hopefully they can go all the way once again. But you know, it does sort of beg that question of, you know, how far did this go? Did other teams know that NiP weren't quite performing?
They played the long con.
Yeah.
It's all said and done, but I mean, if NiP go to the major and they get eliminated in groups again, then back to same old, I suppose. But
well,
that's a
it?
completely different topic. That's for another day. That's a long, long way in the future right now from where we are. And right now where we are is looking at NiP on top of Liquid, just clobbering them on the ground. And Liquid, they need to throw a punch. They need to. They have looked dire. They've only took 5 rounds in this series, Ollie. 3 on Cafe, 2 here. This has not been the Liquid that we have seen. Like, yes, we know Liquid have had their ups and downs, that I think is expected of any side who have had 2 new players, but I think for the standard that they set and the standard that we know they can play to, today has been very much below par.
It certainly has. And they've still got a chance to sort of turn that around here.
Can you think of a standout for Liquid?
Not really. Not consistently. Not over the course of today. We haven't even seen a particularly good day for Palu, you know. Some early aggression being shown from Ask. And the only reason I bring Palu up there is because he is the most consistent player, in my opinion, in Siege as a whole. And it's unusual to not have him have an absolute pop-off, because that's usually what he does. But not been given the opportunity here. Kills traded back and forth. Julio's gone, and as is Ask, getting really aggressive on that breach. Kind of strange to see, especially after he'd already got a bit of success there. Now starting to see Kamikaze push on through. Laid prone. No one's going to expect him there, and Reset certainly didn't. Can now start to swing and move through. Moosey's actually inside of the bathroom, and he's going to be cutting off the site. Palu forced out to rotate into logistics and onto the top of those main stairs. But Psycho, he's going to be waiting to pick him up there as well. The shotgun now being drawn as the plant's going down. Psycho could find himself one here as Liquid do start to push on through, but instead he's just going to wait, call them out. Moosey's going to do the dirty work, and he takes down Palu. Pino holding from afar is going to be able to put some shots on in, as it is all down to Nesk. He's shut down by Psycho. NiP, what a performance here on Clubhouse. They are going to take this map, and they are going to take the series.
Knocking out Liquid. No major for Liquid. It has been since Japan, November 2019 only. 2 years since this team missed out on a major event. And they will not be there. Liquid fans, how are you guys feeling after that one? The boys did not show up, but NiP